Hi guys, I'm back with another video. This one, um, while kind of Ferguson related, it's more a critique on our social media. I like to think I have a pretty strong, fairly strong social media presence. I have Instagram, I used to have Twitter, I was a part of Black Twitter, and now I have a Tumblr that I'm very active on. And I know a lot of you guys are probably watching this because you got to this video from my Tumblr page, so thank you so much if you are following me. And I kind of wanted to talk about something that I find very disturbing that I have definitely noticed in my time on social media, and that other people have noticed as well, because I've had people ask me in my inbox, what do I think about this? And basically it's the concept of white people on social media, on Tumblr, on Instagram, on Twitter, blacklisting black problems, I guess you could say. Specifically, right now it's Ferguson, but in the past it's been, other things, Trayvon Martin, the presidential campaign, when Barack Obama was up for his second election, there's this whole thing, it's like a thing, where white people on social media literally blacklist these terms. So right now those terms would be Ferguson, protest, unrest, riots, Mike Brown, justice for Mike Brown, things like that. These type of kind of trigger words. People are literally blacklisting them and literally saying, I don't want to hear about them. So I'm going to read you guys something from off of Tumblr. Just bear with me. From one of my favorite blogs that I follow. So the blog is called Black Creature from the Lagoon. If you guys want to check it out, it's an awesome blog. Someone asked Black Creature from the Lagoon, anonymously, I feel bad because I have a white friend that is blacklisting Ferguson because she needs a safe space on the internet. I love her to death, but I don't like that she is ignoring my people's suffering. What do I do or say? So Black Creature from the Lagoon basically said, she's white, like what exactly is she needing not to see? This is not happening to her and her people because she is white. What does she need to not see? Child abuse because of the kids being tear gassed, eye horror because of the effects the tear gas have, or what? It's police brutality. If you need certain things blacklisted, like stated above, it is incredibly suspect. And I kind of want to add on to that. She said, Black Creature from the Lagoon said a bit more. You guys can go check it out. I'll include a link. But I kind of wanted to expand a bit on that. And basically, this is something that I see a lot, even if it's not, a period of unrest or people protesting. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I'm a huge fantasy fan. The paranormal, futurism, space, aliens, witches, wolves, vampires, Lord of the Rings, Supernatural, Buffy, Firefly, Harry Potter, Cleopatra 2525, which is a really old one for any of you guys out there, Roswell, the show with Katherine Heigl before she became like a raging, insane person. And my husband, I'm married, and my husband is also a huge anime, manga, comic book fan, huge video games, all that stuff. And typically those type of spaces have not been very welcoming to people of color. And one of the reasons that you hear often stated is, oh, well, fantasy, we'll just use fantasy as kind of the broad umbrella. Fantasy is my escape. What? They say fantasy is my escape from the real world. Kind of like this anonymous question about Ferguson. This is my safe space. This is my escape from reality. I don't want to hear about all the bad things happening in the world when I am immersed in fantasy, when I am on Tumblr, when I am watching Doctor Who, when I am watching Supernatural. This is my safe space and this is my escape. And I have the right to blacklist things that make me feel uncomfortable. Let's talk about that. So basically, what these people are saying, admitting, is that black people, people of color, or brown people, or whatever, you know, I'm just going to go with black because I'm black, so black people for the moment. People of color in their fantasy or on their Tumblrs or on their social media make them feel uncomfortable, make them feel like they are not safe. So they need a safe space away from those things. So your ideal fantasy world is a world where people of color do not exist. Your ideal fantasy world is a world that is completely white. You know, and you have people that say, oh, Frozen, it's set in medieval Europe. There were no black people there. There were no people of color there. There were no Hispanic people there. They have to be historically accurate. This is a movie about ice magic and talking snowmen. And you're looking for historical accuracy. You're looking for accuracy in your fantasy. Let that sink in. Okay. Even if we're going to stick to the historically accurate, fine, whatever. Historically accurate, you can have that. The reverse is often not addressed. And what is the reverse? Whitewashing. When white people come into spaces typically made for POCs and take them over. Avatar, The Last Airbender, that atrocity of a movie, Exodus, Gods and Kings, which has an entirely white cast except for the servants and the bad guys and the criminals and the slaves who magically somehow are all people of color, you know. Whitewashing is not addressed. What happens to historical accuracy when it comes time to whitewash? As I've said in my other videos, there is a concept and there is an idea of white supremacy that is underlying in literally everything in our society. And this extends to our fantasy, this extends to our science fiction, this extends to our safe spaces. So if you need your safe space to be completely devoid of color because that makes you feel uncomfortable and it makes you feel threatened, these are racist behaviors. I'm not calling you a racist to anyone white that may be watching this video. That's saying, is she calling me a racist? I'm not a racist. I'm not calling you a racist. I am telling you that these behaviors and beliefs and ideologies are racist and are built on the back of white supremacy. And maybe you need to examine why these things make you feel uncomfortable. In the case of the person that, you know, has blacklisted Ferguson on Tumblr because this is her safe space. Well, why do those black faces make you feel uncomfortable? Is it just the protest? Is it the riots? Because then you have to say, are you a Hunger Games fan? Hunger Games has a very strong, very large, and very vocal fan base on social media, especially on Tumblr. They have a Tumblr that I follow because I'm a member of the Hunger Games fandom, Capital Couture. It's a fantastic Tumblr page. And they get regularly hundreds and thousands of hits, I'm sure, and reblogs a day. If you are a Hunger Games fan and you're reblogging gift sets about, you know, kind of dystopian futures and revolutions and fighting against the government and fighting against the patriarchy and rebellions, obviously it's not the rebellion that makes you uncomfortable. So if you have to blacklist Ferguson, but not Hunger Games, what is the difference? These black faces. The race, the skin color, the fact that this is black people uprising in reality as opposed to white people uprising in a fantasy. You know, we're all for dystopias and rebellions when it's in our fantasy worlds, but once we're being kind of confronted with this in real life, all of a sudden it's so scary and it's so terrifying that we literally need a safe space where we can run away from these issues that are happening every day in our country and are affecting millions and millions and millions of people. Not just black people, but all people, you know? So I really want you guys to really think before you say, well, this is my safe space. This is my, you know, my fantasy, my escape, and really ask yourself, why do your fantasies and your escapes and your safe spaces have to be away from Black people, have to be away from people of color, have to be away from their feelings and their emotions and their turmoil and their turbulence and their pain and their suffering and their problems? Why do you need to ignore those things to feel safe? And what does that say about you? Right? So, food for thought. Please think about it. Yet again, thank you so much for watching my videos, and see you guys next time. Bye.